Let's see, it's 7:05.
So it's better for me to just use it?
We apparently are recording and the video and the audio on, and yep, I guess we're all set. So this is the April 14th meeting of the Fairfield Solid Waste Recycling Commission. I'm Tim Besler, I'm the chair. Go around and introduce yourselves.
I'm Megan McHale, I'm the secretary.
Ellie Fatahi,
Commissioner?
Mr. Fire Commissioner?
Todd Patel, Assistant Director of Public Works.
Lisa Ganant, Lead Scalehouse Operator.
Mike Pasowitz, Commissioner.
Visitors?
Brad Topar from Big Little Sanitation.
John Mazzaro from United Home Sanitation.
Okay, thank you.
And the one online?
Matt Orsaya from All American Waste.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order, and the first order of business is the approval of the March 10th meeting minutes. Now, I sent these out earlier. Does anyone have any changes or comments, suggestions for change to the minutes?
No.
Can I have a,
I make a motion.
thank you. I couldn't get that word. Misty moves. Do I have a second to approve the minutes?
I'll second it.
Ellie? Any discussion? All in favor? Approved. The Solid Waste and Recycling Department Director's Report, John Cattell.
All right, I sent out the tonnage report. If anyone needs a copy of it.
Oh, you
Yep.
I didn't copy it.
There you go. I got it on my computer.
Somewhere I had some extras, I thought. In either case. So tonnages again are stable, 2,419 tons of MSW, 401 tons of single stream. We didn't have any glass pickup this, for the month of March, and these are end of March numbers. And food waste was 1.7 tons. So it's keeping in line with the normal history.
Oh, can I ask you something? So December was 6.1 tons
Yes.
for glass, and then it was 6.5 in January.
The 6.5, I think, was.
That was a typo from.
That was a typo from last time. It should be a zero there.
6.0.
January should be zero.
Zero.
Oh, zero.
January should be zero. I gotta
Oh,
go
okay,
back
okay,
and
okay,
fix
okay,
that.
got it. Okay, so that's,
Yeah.
right, we are due to pick up
So
again.
it's about every 6 weeks,
Okay.
we get about 6 tons. It's been pretty standard. Other items going on, if there's no questions with tonnage. So we had the a bid opening for our shed roof at the transfer station that we want to put over where future recycling area, and there were no bidders. So it's going back out to bid again.
Wow.
We had a walkthrough on Friday. Unfortunately, there was nobody who showed up on Friday's walkthrough. So I'm gonna try to make a couple of calls to some contractors to see if they missed the boat for some reason or what's going on. So that's what's happening with that.
Can I ask you something? Do you have a vision of what exactly you want it to look like?
Yeah, we have engineered plans,
Okay,
drawings
okay,
for it.
okay.
It's just a 3-sided metal
Yeah, very
structured roof.
straightforward, right?
Yes, with, metal roof on it, metal sides. Very, very basic, just to keep it dry.
Did the engineers that designed this, did they have any contractors in mind or any manufacturers?
I think they gave us a few at the very beginning that we sent stuff out to
Yeah,
people,
sure.
so, people say, oh, yeah, we're gonna, and then nothing. So, yeah, like I said, we'll keep trying. And, just to give you a heads up, I've had a few calls for Haz Waste. Haz Waste starts on May 17th at the Regional Water Authority in New Haven. They're open on Saturdays from 9 to 12. And we have our Has Waste this year, October 4th.
October 4th, late.
It's a little bit later, which is people back from vacations and everything else, so.
Can you repeat the first date that you mentioned and
May 17th is when Regional Water Authority in New Haven, 90 Sergeant Drive.
So you're looking for volunteers, right?
I
Okay,
don't think it's necessary.
okay. Okay. I thought you had to come up with people.
No, I'm just throwing it out there because I know I've had some people that
calls.
called about it.
Anyone that has hazardous waste can take it to New Haven at any time.
On a Saturday,
Okay, sorry.
starting May 17th.
Right, from October till May, when they're closed, they have to go through either Clean Harbors themselves or there's a couple other companies, and they have to pay for it themselves, as opposed to the town of Fairfield covering the cost of it within our Has Waste budget.
Okay, understood.
That's all I have.
Well, you were, Misty mentioned you were.
Oh,
you were
what,
thinking
yes,
about-
the other third thing is I reached out to Oak Ridge, spoke to Joe Sardone this morning about setting up a tour. They won't start doing tours until May. I'm thinking somewhere around the third week of May, Tuesday the 20th or the 21st. Probably May 21st, Wednesday might be the best for us. It gives you extra people, I think.
Right.
I'd like to go set up for maybe around 12:30, 1 o'clock or something like
Yeah.
that, right after lunch.
Well, should we get the word out to everyone in the,
They like to do small groups, so about six, maybe 7 people at a time. They will do more if necessary, but, you know, I know the board was interested, and we were about 6 people, 6, 7.
well, we got 7 on the
So-
commission, and
Right.
not everyone, maybe not everyone will go.
That's what I'm figuring. Some people may not make it, you know.
I think that's it's good to get that date out there, and,
So I haven't firmed it up with him
Okay.
yet, but he said, yeah, they, like I said, they need to do their cleanup and everything after coming out of winter. So I'm thinking probably in those, one of those 3 days would probably be the best.
This is Oak Ridge, right?
Correct.
is this the facility that replaced the one that burned down or had the
It's
fire?
at the same location that had the fire.
Okay,
yeah, Shelton.
I keep calling it Oak Ridge.
Well, yeah, what is their current name?
It's interstate, but they're still going by Oak
This
Ridge
doesn't
there.
sound,
Oh, okay.
Oak Ridge sounds better.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the Regulations Subcommittee, and I want to say I really appreciate the work that Misty and Ron and John and Lisa have done in getting together and going through these, we, for anyone new, last year, effective July 1, we had updated the regulations to a point, and we had to do it by then because we have new fees coming in, tip fees coming in, but there were some things missed, and so now guys spent a lot of time, and you, Misty, go ahead and talk if you like, but I mean.
Well, yes, there was redundancy, there was some clarification that needed to take place. But really, Lisa, she's the one that, she really spent a lot of time digging into this.
And I cracked the whip with them.
You're cracking the whip. We were just sort of there to sort of put in our 2 cents here and
And
there.
Misty brought her sunshine.
But I think.
No, everybody was great.
I think there were some issues that needed definitely to be cleared up in terms of violations, working with the haulers, there was just some funny language in there as well. So I feel really good about those regulations. I mean, I think they're clean, and we had these 2 comments from, what's his name? He was commissioner, and he was the chair.
Oh, you mean Hugh?
Hugh, sorry,
Oh.
it was right on the tip of my tongue. Hugh, about the ashes and about the lithium batteries, and so make sure that was in there.
Yeah.
But I think I think it would be great if everybody could take a quick look at those regulations and, see if there's anything that lights a fire under.
And do we want to vote on whether we could release them to the haulers before you actually vote on changing them, so
Well-
if they have any input on it?
Yes, I mean, this is what I believe we're supposed to do. And first of all, I went through it myself and I put my own notes down there just to clarify, so I knew some of the subjects that you guys had worked on. I certainly have no problem at all, because it was mostly clarifications and just making everything the way they should be now. But I think what I'd like to do is we sent the regulations around to everyone, I believe.
And anything in red was added, and anything that's striked out
Strikeouts.
is with the, from the old regulations. So as you read through,
No, it was, stuff like this was excellent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know when we did it last year, I had gone through and done some of this, but then I was sending it out with some of the stuff taken away, and you didn't know what, makes it very clear exactly what was changed and what was added. And I think what I'd like to do is take a vote or have discussion as we need to, but I think we should try to set up, I think our next step is we need to set up a public hearing, get this online and send it out, of course, to the haulers. It's to the public, basically. We send it to the public, and at the public hearing, we can have a discussion about it. And then at that point, we can vote on, I think we vote again, but then it has to go through the town,
The RTM.
The RTM. But I think you're at a point now that this should go out for comments and take it from there.
yeah.
Do you want the other commissioners to read it and review it before you put it online?
I mean, has everybody read it, reviewed it, and made comments on it?
Correct me if I'm wrong. This has not been sent out?
It's been sent out, but that's what,
Just
yeah.
just to the commissioner.
Yes.
Yes.
That, and yes, I had sent that out, and I was, if there were any comments or any changes, I was hoping to hear back before this
This
meeting.
meeting.
Now, and since I didn't, I'm going to assume that, okay, everything's fine. Again, I went through this, I've not seen anything in here that was not appropriate or not good. So I think we should take a vote on it, and then I'll have this posted and find a reasonable time for a public hearing. And I should, well, let me I'll look at the calendar. Our next meeting is May, I don't have it in front of me, but.
You're away, aren't you? Yeah.
So do I have a motion that we approve the changes as noted?
Well, I don't think anybody's had a chance to review them.
Have they reviewed it? Have your committee, has, you see?
No, that's okay.
You have two commission
That's okay.
members here that clearly say
I
they
mean,
did not
I've
review
reviewed
it.
it many times, but I haven't reviewed it recently. So,
Yeah. Well, how about, just.
Well,
take-
and look, we can certainly let this go to the next meeting if that,
And
because we only have
it's a
4
lot
people.
easier,
So
because you just
do
go
you-
to
okay.
the red and the striked out.
So do you want to put it out there as a draft? Because
Yeah.
the draft gets changed.
Right.
So people can at least comment on it, the haulers can comment on it. Any of
Okay.
the other commissioners can comment on it.
And put a specific date that you need any questions or comments by before the next meeting, so you have them before the next meeting.
So that we can bring it up at the next meeting and say with these, change, inputs if need be.
Matter of fact, I think you reminded me that is the procedure I wanted to do. Get it online, send it to the haulers for sure, but put it on a public, put it on our website. And by the next meeting, and by a certain date, certainly before the next meeting, we'll have comments and then any changes can be made, and then we vote on the document, and then you do the public hearing.
Correct.
All right. So I will do that. You have a list, you have the contact information. I know I have your guys' contacts, but you've got all the,
We can send it, yes, we'll send it to the haulers.
okay,
At least who has emails
right.
that are willing to give us that.
I mean, I can use Matt's email if he's,
And we'll send them out to the haulers. Is this something that you want online or something, or?
Well, and it's,
We can put it on the website as a draft or something?
I think we should, yeah, I think it should go on the website, probably both the department and the commission as a draft, and then let anyone that doesn't want to give out their email, they can go online and look at it that way, yeah, okay. Good.
And what's your date that you want comments back by?
Yeah, that would be important. How
Um,
about before the next meeting?
For sure, now, let's see, I don't have, oh, wait a minute. The next meeting is May 12th. So let me look at my calendar here. So that would be Monday, the 12th. Well, why don't we ask for comments back by Cinco de Mayo? Cinco de Mayo.
de Mayo.
May 5th, right?
No, I mean,
Yeah, okay. Okay,
And they are going to where, comments?
They should go to the commissioner.
yeah, I'll use my email. They can go to me or John if that's how we want to do it. But, you know, I'm using my email for people that want to comment on.
Okay, so when we put these draft version on our website, any comments should be made by May 5th too, and I'll include your email to it.
Right. Well, if you want to use both of our emails, they can choose.
Yeah, I think that would be great,
Why don't we
yeah.
do that? I'll think either mine or yours. Yeah,
Right.
good.
well, if it's to two people, it's gonna,
Yep.
Well, I mean, if he sends it, if I get it, I'm going to give it to John and he gets it.
I know, and
So
it's gonna
that's-
be bouncing around, okay, whatever you want
All
to
right.
do.
Okay, I will take care of that. The next item is the food waste subcommittee report,
Well,
whatever you have.
I don't really have too much to report
Okay.
on that regard, in this regard, but I do want to initiate a docent group or a citizens volunteer coordinating club to help launch anything that we start at
Right.
Lake Mohegan. So I want to put it out there, commission members and Sustainable Task Force, because I think it's not only a good opportunity to get that thing working and working properly, but also to do some important messaging and grow our messaging group. So I would like to help facilitate that and see that it happens. Because I know that in Stanford, the citizens group, they do so many really good outreach programs. They put on a lot of educational videos for the school
I
and
was gonna say, like, is this something like high school students can get involved?
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
They're a little hard to engage.
Oh, really? Don't they need to put stuff on their resumes?
I mean, that's what I proposed to them that in anticipation of the launch at Lake Mohegan, because I went to a green team, eco club meeting at Fairfield Ludlow High School, just to see what they were like talking about. I just wanted to know. And it sounded like they were really looking for like tangible projects, you know, that could like go on their resume or their college application or whatever. And so I said, why don't you put together presentations about compost and make the presentations at the elementary schools and give the kids a handout. And then it's like a whole project that they've done and created, but it's also like educating the kids. And then they go home with a flyer that they can show to their parents. No bites yet on that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, for the high school students, there are a lot to manage.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, you're just,
Probably easier
Yeah.
to get
you know,
parents. with
Regular
elementary
grown-ups.
school. Well, and then like 10-year-old kids.
Yeah.
All right, 10, 12, kind of cut and close, but after that, you lost them.
well, not only that, it's always.
Unless you got some rock and roll in
It's-
there, or.
It's a transient thing, you know, it's a transient group and
Yeah.
they have their vacations and then they go away.
How old's
and-
Ollie?
I took my son on a national park tour when he was 11 because I knew it wasn't going to be too long until he realized what a fool I was. You know?
Perfect timing.
Perfect.
I already got ship sailed for me. But Yeah, so that, and I've been thinking a lot about this too, about how to promote this program and get it in front of as many people as possible. It's very front of mind for me.
Right, and all the work we've done in school, it should all be one big messaging.
Yeah.
So, but we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Be a citizen.
What's the launch date? Do we have a launch date?
It's
what?
a launch date. We don't have a launch date.
Well,
because
we
we're still
don't have-
dealing with
well-
a couple of the issues with.
Along those lines, we don't have an absolute approval to get these bins yet. I have, as I have on the agenda here, on March 19th, I met, I was on the agenda for the Parks and Rec Commission, and I presented what I had sent around about what our hopes are for Lake Mohegan, with a lot of details about what these containers were, that there was going to be, that anyone uses, that you have to sign up to use them, that they were secure, all those things. I thought it went very well, but there was some, they tabled it because there were some unanswered questions, and there are still some unanswered questions. Number one was, he said, the head of the department said he had to talk to Conservation Department to weigh in on this, because it's right next to a town park.
And their access way?
And their access way. I mean, I made, as you know, as you can see, my suggested place for this is away from, it's way away from the main area where you're
Right.
swimming, but it's also far enough back from that one path that goes in from the north part of the site parking lot. Another question was, well, what about plowing and snow removal? Well, that's something we'd have to deal with. We may need some volunteers to go, not shovel them off, but clean them off after a snowstorm, things like that. And the idea and the concerns about users came up. I mean, how do we make sure that people aren't going to use this to dump their trash in? And I mean,
How are we gonna make sure people from Easton who have beach stickers in Fairfield are not using it?
Well, when they register.
Ooh, now
which
that's
one
an
they're-
interesting-
wait a minute,
Because we have a lot of Easton people who come down to the transfer station because it's closer for them than to go to Trumbull where they're supposed to go.
Well, how do they
And
get?
they get very angry at us when we send them away because they do have a beach sticker, but they've got the out-of-town beach sticker.
Oh, so, okay, now
Well, then
so
when you
East,
register, you register by address, that's it. I mean,
Well-
so,
yeah, there's two things. First of all, so Easton people can get a beach sticker.
Right, because
but
they're
they can't
landlocked.
get a transfer station. It's a different sticker then.
well,
Okay.
when you register to get a code, you're gonna have to put in your address, you have to put all your contact information in there that's gonna define what town you're from, so I don't
I
see.
think I sent to the three of you, to Misty, Ellie, and John, the email I got back from Kristen at Metro Store. I wanted to make sure that we can control what questions, what people have to put in there to get access to this when they get their app. Yeah, definitely name, okay, Fairfield address, that would be very clear. What is your address in Fairfield? No one else from Easton can do that. And one of the other things that came up is that the Parks and Rec is the one that controls the beach sticker addresses and all that. They're the ones that issue the beach stickers. He says, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to have our staff have to spend time, taking these applications and all that. And I says, no, my understanding is that Metro Store, they charge for it. They're the ones that will take the applications. We have access to them. And my idea is at this point that besides their name, address, email, Fairfield address and email, phone number, they have to put the license number that's on their beach sticker. And again, rather than having someone have to get in touch with someone, okay, and get permission, they put it on there. And we can access that list anytime we want. And maybe it's volunteers that look at it in case some contamination starts happening.
Okay, not just because there's video and there's timing, right?
Well, there's no video.
I thought there was something with the timing of.
Oh, no.
When they open it
When they
up.
open this up,
Their registration number is there, and
the computer has it, that's right. So we would know if contamination occurs, we know when the contamination is found, we could go back in the last day or two, see who has been there. You probably can't identify, But unless we put a camera up, there's no video seeing people do that. But I think the idea that having put your license number in there, and again, there's certainly no guarantee that someone's not going to try to sabotage this. But I don't know that there's any way to make it perfect.
Maybe in the beginning, I don't understand. So we're going to kind of outsource the management of the app?
Well, yeah, the containers, each of the containers, they're sold by by Metro Store. Metro Store, yeah, I think they.
Yeah, I understand. So we're going to outsource it.
Oh, yeah, they're
Go over it again.
people that want to do this are going to have to go online to Metro Store and
And
sign up.
there's a fee for that.
No, it's not a fee.
Management.
Well, there's a management fee to the town. I think it's.
We already have that figured in.
That's
right?
part of that's part of the
It's
cost.
not, okay.
It's nominal.
That's what I want.
Yeah, so, again, people are going to have to, they know they're going to be identifiable when they go there. And I think other than having a camera and hiring people to watch this, to me, everyone I think at our visit today, people were talking about Metro Store. In general, everyone I talked to says, people that want, the only people we're going to get are people that really want to do the right thing and put their food waste in there. And I know when I talked to the guy up at Manchester who has these for over a year now, he has 4 of them, he says that they really haven't had any contamination. But
They're better people.
But
no
remember,
guarantees, but.
one of the biggest differences, in Fairfield, people pay for garbage. It's not built into their tax base.
Right.
And because I find garbage in the recycling bins, I find, things that are paid for in the electronics recycling trailer that would, people got an outrageous amount of people dumping garbage in public parks. Okay, that's, you have to look at the demographics of the areas where it works.
Yeah.
And, have you looked at towns within our interlocal? What are they doing? Towns that are similar, where they pay for trash as opposed to having it built into the tax base. What are they doing? Because you keep going after these cute little, rural towns, which are very different from what Fairfield is.
Well, I have tried to, Kristen, Metro Store gave me names of someone in Boston, Housing Authority, and someone in New York, and I've called and emailed, I don't get any responses.
Have you talked to Councilman Burns in Bridgeport with what he's doing over there? Have you talked to anybody within our interlocal?
A while ago, but not recently, and that is a really good point. So
Yeah.
if John could give us the updated list, because a lot of times that list is incomplete, with the
List
emails of the people in our interlocal.
I don't know if anyone else in the interlocal is doing.
Well, no, the only ones
They're
that,
not, but what are they doing for food waste? Because remember, it's you. Again,
Sent out a survey.
our transfer station and how we run it and garbage is not figured into the tax base. We're getting the pushback from finance that we have to cover more of the cost of what we're paying out. You keep wanting this very expensive free service for more and more people without figuring how we're going to pay for it. We're just going to give you more money for it. So we have to see, because we're not within the 25 miles, we're already making, again, we've got to work together and, like Councilman Burns, we've got to get something closer to make it, less of a carbon footprint. We're making a bigger carbon footprint than we're saving with the way we're doing it. It's very costly with the way we're doing things. We have to see what we can do, not what HRR is doing. We have to see what we can do down in our part of the state.
well, and by the way, HRI, they have 14 of these on order, they haven't been delivered. But they mentioned that even specifically the guy from Newtown today mentioned that the biggest cost of food waste to them is the transportation. And they're going, we're going 30 miles to New Milford, they're going 10.
We're going
And
40.
it's still their biggest, if you go up to the one in Southington, it's 50 miles.
Yeah, but it's 42 because you can't go to the Merritt Parkway.
Oh, right.
It's really difficult because the state has mandated that this issue has got to be addressed, and yet there's so little infrastructure to make it successful. And
And that's where we have to work.
And that's why it just seems like it is almost an issue of legislation that has to help open up some doors, because it's also difficult for these little towns to be trying to find their own little answers, and this not being a regional solution. I mean,
Well, the
That's
thing
why
is,
I'm asking why we're not working
Connecticut.
within our
I'm sorry,
interlocal.
Mike, go ahead.
well, I mean.
I'm trying to raise my hand, and everybody else is talking. This is a comment. This is just my comment. And everybody that's heard me talk here knows I don't like to spend other people's money, especially my own. And I get what you're saying. This is not an overly expensive endeavor.
What we're doing now.
Yeah, with this. And we've already priced it out. Now, I know some things might come up and it might cost more, but what's the worst case scenario? If this doesn't work, we shut it down and we go back in another direction. It's not, we're not, we're almost trying to pick it apart, even almost too
Oh,
much.
no. I mean, again, it's just, to keep expanding
you.
on this, keep expanding
you.
on it. Okay, because per capita, per person, it's very expensive. Okay, but it's less than half of 1% of the people in this municipality we're catering to. It's a special interest group that we're catering to right now. We have to look at the whole picture and how to make the whole town better. Is what I'm
This is
saying.
one of those projects that we start out smaller though, and we may find out that it's a benefit to us and then we expand it. Right now, it's not a big cost. And again, if it doesn't work,
Right.
we pull it out.
The idea is to expand the separation of food waste as best we can here in Fairfield. You're absolutely right, Misty, until someone builds a big facility in the southwestern part of the state, we're gonna be shipping it a long distance. I mean, you've probably read about New Haven, they've got a whole big thing going in New Haven now, but that's not gonna be for out-of-town people, and that's 20 miles or 25 miles away. But, but again, I believe, for everything I've read and you listen to legislatures, I think within the next 2-3 years, the state definitely, because of all this trash they're shipping it to other states, they definitely are going to have, they may mandate food waste separation in some way as the years go on. I would just like to see an expansion of it here in Fairfield.
We are
We're
15
not
to
a
20,
huge
everybody
amount.
I've talked to, we're 15 to 20 years before that's going to happen in this part of the state.
Well,
Okay?
okay.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think to build on what Mike was saying, I think we should view this as a building block,
Yeah.
not as.
It's not a cure-all,
final
that's what I'm saying. It's
solution,
not
but
a
that
cure-all. Because we have to
also-
also look at the big picture.
Right. We don't wanna move backwards.
Right.
We wanna continue moving forwards, and if, for whatever reason, we have to do that slowly here, so be it. But let's put the effort into this project and see if we can get more people coming. Because as I've said in these meetings many times, the way it looks on paper, the way we pay for compost is different than the way we pay for MSW. We don't pay by the ton, we pay by the pickup, right? So the more people do it, the lower the cost is. That's what the results of the subcommittee's report was.
I'll make one last comment. My 40-plus years in law enforcement, security, and all that stuff, this group of people that are going to use this facility, I'm really not worried about.
I agree.
There are some that I am worried about. There's some projects that we come up with that, I would be worried about people throwing stuff in, like you said. Here, I don't know, I just don't see it. They're going to sign up for the app.
Yeah.
They're going to do it because they want to do
Right.
it. And again, if it doesn't work out, then we end it.
Right. And I look at this as a separate issue, a separate project from going and looking at these food processing technologies, which may or may not be reasonable for Fairfield to do at some point in the future. But I think the trend all around the state and the country basically is to increase the
Source separation.
food separation. So, along the lines, so anyway,
We've got a long way to go yet.
Oh, a long way to go.
One last thing I will say on it, the one thing that does make me nervous when you talk about volunteers, because government agencies don't like relying on volunteers because they disappear.
That's true.
So anything that they say that if we're worried about snow removal, we need to find a legitimate, long-term answer for them, not just say some volunteers will do it.
Well, snow removal, of course, the town already removes snow from that parking lot at Lake Mohegan. Now, what they'll have to do is go around these containers. The only volunteer would be, unless someone's willing to get out of the truck and sweep off I live a mile away, I'll go over and do it for a while, but I know what you're saying. I
The
do.
next person to use it will just do it.
Well, exactly, yeah, exactly. And of course, and I've talked, I think within our commission, the other thing that has to be done by a volunteer, quote unquote, is every 9 months, someone has to change the batteries on these things. And it's like 12 AA batteries. Well, again, I would have no problem every 9 months going out and doing that myself or someone else. But I think within our commission, within the Sustainable Fairfield, this is not a big deal and it could happen.
Make sure the batteries get recycled properly.
Always.
So anal about batteries.
Right into the food.
I think you could agree, right? I think you could agree when people talk about volunteers, you cringe, because they just never come back, even with the batteries. That's a simple thing, just assign it to somebody in the town, don't go out there
Somebody has to
saying.
know how to do it and how many batteries and what size, or it's gonna be.
Town, right, assign
Can
it
you
to
write
them.
down Matt's email for me? I can't see that far.
I will, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Or I can read it out. I can read it out. Sorry, thank you very much. It's MORSAIA@allamericanwaste.com.
Okay. Yep, good, got it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Well, is there any more discussion about food waste?
No, I think we're going in the right direction.
Okay, good. Megan, you want to talk about, under new business, you want to talk about a waste reduction plan for Fairfield?
Yeah, after the last meeting, said a lot about what Brad said. And on Friday, I went to Hartford. There was a press conference by the Sierra Club about 2 bills that are coming up in Congress. There, I believe, will be in the Appropriations Committee in May. We hopefully voted out of the Appropriations Committee in May regarding reducing waste in Connecticut. We have a major problem. So I know that the state wants towns to make plans, and we're a big town. We're like borderline a city. So what I would like to propose is that we create a subcommittee to work on building a waste reduction plan for our community. Overall waste reduction, not just moving the waste from one bin to a different bin.
Right,
Perfect.
beautiful. I'll second the motion. Discussion?
I guess,
Well, I guess the discussion is who, we have 2 people missing here today, but who, obviously,
I would love
you want to
to
be in the
hear
can I
subcommittee?
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So like, is there like a template that we can use to kind of, or is this whatever we want it to be?
I haven't even gotten that far.
Okay.
I mean, I did a little bit of research, but I haven't found like a plan to build off of. But I think there's a lot of areas that it needs to cover. And it would help, I think, guide some of our work.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So,
like a guidance document.
yeah.
Long-term planning.
Yeah.
Development of a plan. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, so I would love to be on that committee. And I can just put it in the minutes and other people can.
Yeah, why don't you put it in a minute as you being the member, because I want the 2 people that are not here tonight to see that too. So at the next meeting, we can actually decide who's on the subcommittee.
I really want to volunteer, but I feel like I'm at capacity right now.
Maybe in the summer you'll
Yeah.
feel in the mood.
You know, you can always call me. Yes. I don't want to be formally on
You
it,
made a
but
comment up there that's really good. The state still has a goal of 60.
% solid waste diversion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I sent that
Question.
Connecticut.
I actually have an honest question about that. When they say solid waste diversion, What would qualify as diversion?
They're imagining, I believe, what they think
Not to
is.
Wheelabrator.
Right, so,
Diversion?
so what they're imagining, I think, is 35, based on some stuff I learned on Friday at this press conference, like 35% is food waste, and to the other 25%, I think, is paper or recycling.
Well, I don't mean the breakdown, I just mean like, we're diverting it from.
From MSW.
Okay. So anything that's separated out,
Yeah.
so you're gonna have you're just trying to make the MSW category as small as possible by creating many more categories to put the other crap in.
Well, I mean, to me, this means reducing the overall waste in every category.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But in their category, they're just saying we're trying to make MSW
That's the state's
smaller,
goal, because they don't want, I mean, this,
food
again,
somewhere,
you know,
recycling somewhere.
because we don't, our stuff goes to Wheelabrator, right? But like in other
Which is
parts of
great.
the state, they are hauling their trash to
Right, 'cause it's cheaper.
Ohio, yeah.
It's cheaper.
Look,
And there are no, and because there are no landfills in Connecticut because of the leach.
And there's no alternative, so they have to haul it,
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
whether it's Ohio or
And
Pennsylvania.
what it sounded like on Friday was that there is, as the other trash to energy facilities in this town, in this state, live their lives and die, they will not build new ones. That was the vibe that I got from there. So what they really want to do is just overall reduce MSW
Right.
as much as
That
possible.
I understand. I just want to make sure we're clear on what we're actually saying, if we're saying diversion.
Yeah.
So we're taking from MSW and trying to shrink that down to the minimal number of items that we are actually calling MSW. We're going to create a category for paper, cardboard,
Yes.
and metal, and food waste, and yard waste, and then what we're.
Yeah, I
left
mean,
with
we're
is
really
MSW.
good, yeah, on yard waste.
Yeah, yard waste, we do a pretty decent
We're-
job. Well, it's
really-
been 30 years.
I know.
And it's
And we were
easy.
ahead of the game.
And
Yeah,
it's
everybody's
easy.
is easy.
It's easy compared to recycling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where did it come from? Your yard. It's yard waste.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One thing that,
You're gonna buy it again.
I think paper, did we see today on that pie chart, paper is about 25% of MSW. Now, I personally, you know, I know that you can put cardboard and junk mail and all that stuff in recycle, but there's a lot of times where I'm not sure about this. I know that the paper's going to go and become energy if it's sent as trash, but then that's adds to the weight of the trash. And a question for anyone here, in terms of marketability, is it still the case that cardboard is still pretty good? And is paper actually used? Is that actually recycled and reused as much as?
You would know from the numbers.
Your newspaper is, although we all know that
Who reads newspapers?
newspaper is diminished.
I read it here.
You know, some of the other papers are low value, if there is value in it.
And-
Plastic coated stuff and.
Most of the junk mail is half
Yeah,
plastic.
Plastic coated, so.
Which
it's-
is really a shame.
Yeah, it is.
And then we have the abundance of people who put paper towels and use tissues because it's paper. You know, and that could ruin a whole bale of paper.
So the paper thing, there's so many questions for Joe Sardona, right? Because, you know,
let's
their
pick him up.
markets, I mean, I think the last time we were up there, which was years ago, they said they weren't taking paper because there was no market for paper. I don't even know if they were taking newspaper, I don't know, but in any case, it's probably.
Well, we still have people in town who believe that, you know, plastic's not recyclable. You know, even, you know, I mean, it's just, but yes, there's a lot of the plastics are recyclable. You know, and it's, you know, and again, it's just, we went from separated recycles. And then it's like, let's throw everything in, and then, whoa, we can't throw everything in. You know, I mean, that was one of the biggest disservices to recycling.
It really was.
We try to make it as easy as possible, but we're just gonna do this.
It's never worked.
If I may, we have a single stream sorting and recycling facility in Berlin, Connecticut, where, you know, we just gave Yale. Yale asks for a tour quite often, but I mean, you all are welcome to tour our All-American MRF, where we have a single stream sorting facility and all that stuff gets bailed out and out to market. Glass, you know, I mean, aluminum, I mean, anything you could think of. It's all automated. It's a pretty cool tour. Just wanted to open the door to have you guys see that side of it.
I'd be
Yes,
very
thank
interested
you.
in that. Now,
Yeah, please.
All America, you handle you do the hauling for Manchester, is that right?
That's right.
Right, yeah, I visited up there just to see their Metro Store bins. And I remember that. And you take all of their garbage, MSW to your facility?
Yeah, and what I was speaking of specifically in Berlin is our single stream recycling sorting facility. So all of the municipalities, I mean, we have truckloads of single stream, whether it's paper, cardboard, plastics 1 through 7. I mean, you name it, and it's all sorted via AI and what they call optical eyes and miles of conveyor belts. But all of that stuff is source separated, baled and out to market. And it's a pretty cool process, and it's a heck of a tour, this way, just to get an idea of how we're bundling that and baling it and getting it in and out of the building.
Matt, how are you dealing with the glass?
The glass is making its way into concrete, believe it or not.
So you're getting those piles of silicone dust and then you're transporting that to?
Yeah, yes.
Where do you go? Urban mining or?
I don't want to talk out of turn, but I could get you an answer on exactly where it's going. I do know it's recycled into concrete for the most part.
Yeah, we did it some years ago, a couple years ago. We did a tour up at Urban Mining, which is in Beacon Falls, and yeah, what they end up with the glass bottles it's like a fine dust that pozzolan. It's called pozzolan. They mix it with concrete.
Yeah, that's right.
So you have no trouble with glass in your recycling stream?
Not as much now that we've, made the advances in technology and investments in technology that we have. It's one of our, better examples of a, kind of fully recycled solution where we're getting it into the, getting into the concrete as opposed to, back in the day not having much to do with it.
Solve a lot of problems.
But yeah, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to schedule a tour or get you guys some real detailed, accurate, info if should you have specific questions.
Okay.
And you're starting to collect food waste in Connecticut too, right?
That is true. We just launched a food scrap recycling program where we are offering toters, 68-gallon toters, or 2, 4, and 6-yard front load containers. Obviously, we have a host of compaction options in the field, but we just launched a program for our entire collection footprint, which is basically Greenwich to Vermont up the coast. But we are picking up food scrap and primarily bringing it to digesters and Quantum, what have you, but bringing it to wherever we can to help facilitate what the state's trying to accomplish here.
How is he doing? Okay. Is that happening here?
What's that?
It hasn't, I don't think it's started
It
yet.
hasn't started.
My understanding is the 20 or 25 mile radius is no longer in play. There is a quasi government agency, CET, I believe is what it is, and they're filling out waste surveys, right? I think it's 500 pounds per week or 26 tons per year. If you are over that amount as a commercial business or school system or what have you, you are now going to be required to be, contracting a food scrap recycling service that separates that material out and diverts it, I guess, from your waste stream, like you guys were just talking about.
Yeah, so that's, for businesses of 26 tons and more. For schools, the 20-mile radius is still in play.
Well, and
There are only 12 schools in Connecticut that are triggered by the law.
one of the we talked about this today. One of the problems with that the tonnage requirement is not, it's not per town school system, it's per building or per year. I mean, I think here in Fairfield, it was 200 and 250 tons a year, but that's among 8 or 11 elementary schools. I don't know why. Yeah, it has to be one building. If we're a successful program, why don't we do that?
I mean, my understanding is the state is using like a per pound per student type of math to come up with a number. But you're exactly right. I mean, this is it's new, right? And I certainly don't want to talk out of turn. I've just been briefed a few times as a sales manager, but I do know that they're using a per pound per student math. for schools. And then businesses, they have a survey on the, the state website and that CET website that they're basically they're proactively reaching out to businesses, shopping centers, markets, delis, bakeries, et cetera. And they're having them fill out a survey online to help them determine if they would qualify as somebody who generates that much weight of food scrap, and then making sure they're on a program and they get reporting.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing what they're.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll be in
Yeah,
touch.
send me an email.
We will.
Right on.
Anything else?
I have a quick question about that. So it's a mandatory program from the state? So if I own a grocery store,
Yes.
I have to subscribe to,
My understanding,
25 miles or 20
no,
miles.
it doesn't matter.
No, not for businesses.
Not for businesses?
Only for school, the distance is only for schools.
Oh, okay.
All right, they're giving
My
us-
understanding is it is mandatory. Should the state and you, I guess, in partnership with you, guys would have to determine if you accumulated the weight, over the weight limit of, I think it's 500 pounds per week or 26 tons per year.
So for like, if you're Trader Joe's,
Whole Foods, Stop and Shop.
Because the business should pay for it,
Yes.
whereas
Oh,
the
yeah.
school gets the buy because it's a
Right.
government agency.
yeah.
Already.
And, yeah, in Fairfield, ShopRite,
Right, Whole Foods.
Whole
does it.
Foods,
Yeah.
both Stop and Shops, and you said Trader Joe's is doing it too?
But so once they hit that, whatever that pounds.
Right,
cutoff
BJ's
is,
does it,
the
too.
town- The state sets.
So
It's
when do they,
mandatory is my point.
when do they come to you? Because you've mentioned sometimes that Whole Foods ends up at.
Oh, Whole Foods comes once a week with their garbage.
oh, they're
Oh,
going.
you know, during COVID, when everything was a little crazy, they did have highly contaminated food waste that got turned away in New Milford. And so then they had to truck it back to Fairfield because we're the licensed facility. Okay, and that was a big deal during COVID, and it cost the company a lot of money because they're paying for that double run with the hauler. That, once the new they cut a lot of programs at Whole Foods because just to get this right.
Yeah.
They're no longer doing the corks, there's a lot of stuff they're no longer doing, but they got the food waste right. Food Bazaar does it too over in Bridgeport.
Any other public
I just want to say, oh, sorry, do you have?
No, I'm, any,
Will you open a big
Oh.
grocery store?
No, I was just curious, I wasn't clear that it was mandatory.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes sense why they're doing it, because
Yeah.
someone has to provide the service and
Right.
someone has to make the money charging the grocery store. So they're stupid not to do it.
I just wanted to say that, in case you didn't see the posters around and collection bins, the green teams are hosting a resale event. And there's a big sign, a banner, well, actually, there's a banner over Sherman Green, and there's one at the transfer station, and it's on April 26th. And so people are currently donating gently used, like, summer-themed items. And anyone who wants to help me carry the ones that are downstairs here out to my car when we're done is welcome to.
okay.
And then we'll have this sale in conjunction with the YMCA's Healthy Kids Day on April 26th. It'll be from 12 to 3 at Sherman Elementary. Everything is $1 unless we get anything really nice, and then it might be $5. We'll see. Last time, everything was absolutely $1. That was it.
And size limit or,
There's really no size limit. We're trying to keep it like summer themed. So like beach gear, lawn stuff, sports equipment, cleats.
I've been thinking about getting rid of our kayaks, would that?
Yeah,
only went once a year.
$1.
somebody love them.
Well, we had someone donated a like basically brand new toaster oven, not even like a toaster oven to when we did this at the holiday time, and Tony Wong bought it for $1. I was like, you couldn't afford it. But yeah. So I hope that people will come and share information.
money's going to
The
sustenance.
money is going to, so the cost of food waste removal went up a lot, and our grant from Sustainable CT ran out, so we just need a little bit more money to get us through the end of this year before compost hauling goes into the budget for next year.
Well, if you have any more flyers, I'll take them to some of these places.
Yeah, I probably have some in my car.
Cool.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and this week is a great week to have it because all the kids are coming to the transfer station with mom and dad.
Oh,
and
good,
school
yeah.
week off,
Yeah, I hope everyone's doing like some spring cleaning on these days off, and
I have to say, it's really fun shopping at the resale because everything is $1 and like people in this town don't high quality stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Nice thing.
And it's $1.
yeah,
And
everything's
it's $1. It's $1. It's fun. It's more about, everything's $1 because it's more about teaching people that you can get great things secondhand. You don't always have to buy new things.
Oh, yeah.
And then if we get to make a little bit of money, that's a bonus.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Okay, all in favor? Thank you, everyone. Good
Thank
meeting.
you.